Hi, everyone. This is Dennis Truska. When I'm not providing you with intel on veteran resources here on Check 6 Radio, I dedicate my time to helping veterans navigate the complexities of their VA rating claims. As a veteran coach for Just for Veterans Enterprise, I provide disability benefits educational services designed to give you peace of mind that your claims won't be denied or underrated. We don't just point you toward the VA, we provide a complete walkthrough from start to finish. Our mission is to educate you through every step of the application process with one-on-one strategy sessions, a 30-minute consultation to build your specific action plan, evidence review, an in-depth HIPAA-compliant review of your medical records to determine the best course of action, video telehealth, access to veteran-friendly, independent medical professionals to meet your nexus and causation needs. Don't let your earned benefits become a blind spot. Secure your future today. If you're ready to get the rating you deserve, call me directly at 301-453-7304. Again, that's 301-453-7304. Welcome back to The Formation, everyone. You're listening to Check 6 Radio. I'm your host, Dennis Truska. Before we push out of the hangar today, I want to clarify something for the new listeners. We are incredibly proud to be a part of the Rad Dad Network. Now, if you hear the name Rad Dad Network, you might think we're a parenting support group or a veteran-only organization. We're neither. The Rad Dad Network is a podcast network built by working dads who wanted a space for high-quality shows on everything from sports and hobbies to business and life advice, all while having a good time and keeping it real. Check 6 Radio is a specific wing of the network dedicated to watching the six of our veteran and service member community. So whether you're a grunt on your morning commute, a sailor on the night shift, or an airman enjoying the weekend, there's a seat at the table for you here. Okay, last episode we did a state roll call on the benefits your home state owes you. Today, we're pivoting. We are moving from what you receive to what you build. The biggest threat to a veteran's transition is not a lack of opportunity, it's a massive identity crisis. Most of us think that when we hang up the uniform, we're starting over at the absolute bottom of the civilian ladder. We look at corporate America and we feel like we don't belong. I'm here to tell you right now, you aren't starting over. You're redeploying. Today, we'll talk about taking that NCOIC, petty officer, or commissioned officer mindset and translating it into a C-suite reality. No guest today, just a straight briefing on how to take command of your civilian career. So let's get started. So many of you know I spent 18 years in the Air Force, flying on the EC-130 Compass Call, RC-135 Rivet Joint, after about 9 years enlisted as a meteorologist and a network engineer. So in that military world and in whatever branch you served in, leadership is structural. It is built into the uniform. You have the rank on your chest or your sleeve, you have the uniform code of military justice at your back, and you have a clear, undeniable chain of command. If I told a team to get a bird ready for a sortie, or if an Army staff sergeant tells a squad to pack their gear, it happens because the regulations demand it. But the day you get your DD-214 and step into civilian office, or the day you open your own small business, that automatic authority vanishes. I mean, it evaporates. I've seen 20-year sergeants major and seasoned field grade officers absolutely struggle in corporate roles. Why? Because they tried to order a civilian marketing team to meet a deadline. They treated a missed email like a uniform violation. In the civilian world, because I said so doesn't get you compliance. It gets you a one-way ticket to an HR mediation for a hostile work environment. Ask me how I know this. Real leadership in the civilian world isn't about authority, it's about influence. In the military, compliance is mandatory. In the corporate sector, buy-in is optional. You have the grit, you have the discipline, and you know how to execute under pressure. But you have to trade the command and control model for a vision and influence model. You have to learn how to make people want to follow you when they have the option to say no. Veterans actually make the best corporate leaders in the world once they figure this out, because we know how to take care of our people. We just have to learn how to speak their language. That brings us to why we struggle so much in interviews and boardrooms. Think back to your time on the flight line, on a ship's bridge, or in the field. When you're talking on the radio, brevity isn't just a style, it's a safety requirement. We're trained to strip away the fluff, use the acronym, and move on. When we transition, we keep that same radio frequency dialed in. We go into a job interview and talk like we're giving a sit rep to a battalion commander. We say things like, I was the NCOIC of the S4, responsible for the O rates of the unit's rolling stock. The civilian hiring manager across from you doesn't hear leadership, they hear alphabet soup. They want to hire you, but you're making them feel confused. And in business, confusion kills deals. I call this the translation gap. You have the most high-speed experience on the planet. But if you can't explain it to someone who has never touched a weapon or stood a watch, your experience is completely invisible. So we're going to perform a little jargon declutter. We're going to take 5 heavy military terms and strip them down into corporate power words. Okay, first one, operational readiness. If you were responsible for making sure vehicles, aircrafts, or comms gear worked, you weren't just a mechanic or a tech. In the C-suite, you were in quality assurance and asset management. You managed a multi-million-dollar inventory and optimized workflow to ensure a 98% service delivery rate. How about NCOIC or OIC? We all love this one. Delete these from your resume immediately. To a civilian, an officer in charge sounds like a mall security guard. You were a director of operations, a division manager, or a senior project lead. Troops, airmen, Marines, sailors. When you talk about the people you lead, use the term human capital or cross-functional teams. You didn't issue counseling statements, you conducted performance appraisals, you identified KPIs, and you directed professional development. How about this one, logistics? If you moved gear or people in a combat zone, do not let them tell you that you are just a warehouse worker. You are a specialist in global supply chain optimization and risk mitigation. Moving assets under hostile fire requires a level of dynamic problem solving that Fortune 500 companies pay consultants millions to figure out. And then, of course, mission accomplished. Don't say you accomplished the mission. Say you delivered project outcomes ahead of schedule and under budget, exceeding stakeholder expectations. Now, I'm not asking you to figure out this translation entirely on your own. In the military, you didn't deploy without a support element, and you shouldn't deploy into the civilian sector without one either. There are incredible organizations built specifically to help you breach the C-suite and translate your leadership. And before I get into them, let me just say, I am putting the links to every single one of these organizations in the show notes below. So if you're driving or at the gym, don't worry about writing this down. Just check the show notes later. Okay, first up is ACP, American Corporate Partners. This is a massive resource. ACP pairs veterans with handpicked mentors from Fortune 500 companies for a full year. If you want to know how a VP at Disney or a director at Lockheed Martin thinks, ACP will introduce you to one. They will review your resume, run mock interviews, and teach you how to navigate corporate politics. It is 100% free for veterans. Next is 4Block. If you want a masterclass in corporate networking, 4Block is the gold standard. It's a career readiness program taught by corporate executives. They teach you how to build a civilian network without feeling like you're begging for a job. They show you how to leverage LinkedIn and how to talk to recruiters. And for the entrepreneurs out there, you need to look at Bunker Labs. Bunker Labs is a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs. If you want to be the CEO of your own startup, this is your tribe. They have an incubator program, funding resources, and networking events where you can meet other veterans who have successfully built businesses from the ground up. Click the links in the show notes. Leverage these assets because you've earned them. All right, so speaking of Bunker Labs and entrepreneurship, let's talk about those of you who don't want to work for a corporate CEO. You want to be the CEO. Military training is the greatest entrepreneurship school on earth because of one specific doctrinal concept, commander's intent. In the civilian business world, plans fail the moment they hit the market. Most civilians freeze when the standing operating procedure fails. They wait for someone to tell them what to do. But as a veteran, you know that the plan is just a starting point. Commander's intent is the description of what a successful mission looks like at the end, regardless of the chaos in the middle. If you start a business, your employees need that intent. If you own an HVAC company and you tell your team, our intent is to make sure the customer has heat before nightfall, and the primary supply house is out of parts, a veteran-led team won't wait for you to wake up and give them new orders. They'll find a workaround, drive to a different county, and achieve the intent. In the corporate world, this is called agile project management and decentralized decision making. Those are C-suite buzzwords, but for you, it's just how you operate it every single day in uniform. Also, if you're a disabled vet starting a business, you must lock in your SDVOSB, which is Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business certification. The federal government aims to award at least 5% of all contracting dollars to SDVOSBs. We're talking about billions of dollars in federal contracts set aside specifically for people with your background. It's a tactical advantage that can scale your business overnight. As always, I'm not just going to brief you and send you on your way. You have homework for this sorting. We're going to do an identity audit. I want you to pull up your resume or your LinkedIn profile right now. Find 3 bullet points detailing what you did in the service. Now, I want you to read them out loud and aggressively apply the so what test. If your bullet point says, I was a platoon sergeant, ask yourself, so what? If your bullet says, I managed the maintenance schedule for 12 aircraft, ask yourself, so what? The civilian answer shouldn't be about tasks. It needs to be about the results. I managed a team of 40 personnel and oversaw $15 million in assets, resulting in a 20% increase in operational efficiency and 0 safety incidents. Numbers translate across every single industry. Ranks do not. Stop talking about what your title was and start talking about what value you delivered. You have the discipline. You have the leadership. You've operated at a level of stress, fatigue, and stakes that most corporate executives couldn't even dream of. You do not need to learn how to lead. You just need to learn the new radio frequency. This briefing helped you, or if it changed the way you view your own experience, do me a favor. Share this episode with one wingman in your contacts who is struggling to find their civilian voice. Hit that subscribe button, leave a review. Tells the algorithm to push this intel to other veterans navigating the transition. All the links to ACP, 4Block, and Bunker Labs are in the show notes below. And don't forget to check out the other shows on the Rad Dad Network. Whether you're looking for sports talk or just a good laugh from other working dads, there's a show for you in our network. Stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your 6. I'm out.